I once had a friend who would always mess his pants whenever he got scared or nervous about something because his stomach would get upset and he would poop himself. And actually, one day he came and told us that he was going to ask a girl named Natalia to be his girlfriend. And we told him, no man, don't do it, you're going to crap yourself. He claimed nothing would happen since he'd hold it in, but then he went for it. And that day when he was going to ask Natalia, he says, "Na Natalia, do you want to be my girlfriend?" But then, Natalia says, "Why did it start to smell like crap when you came closer?" And in the end, Natalia told him no, that it was gross, and my buddy Stalin ended up pooping his pants. FFF. Oh my god, I'm pooping myself, it's coming out. Oh, one time my buddy Caries played a prank on his sister, telling her he had thrown away all her Barbies and she had more than 100, and in the end, Caries got scolded and punished for it. 138, which was the number of Barbies his sister had, because the guy was bored alone at home. So he decided to hide his sister's dolls, and when she came back, he shouted, "Teresita, I threw away all your Barbies," and there went Teresita. And she ran like Lightning McQueen to see her dolls, and when she saw they weren't there, she started to cry. And Caries was dying of laughter, but then Teresita started laughing too because her mom was behind Caries looking at him with a possessed devil's stare like this. One time, a drunk guy from the neighborhood that we called Condorito almost had a firework explode on his head, and he was about to go with El Chavo del Ocho. But honestly, he was incredibly lucky because an uncle grabbed him and said, "Hey, I bought these fireworks that shoot sparks into the sky, but I don't know how to light them." And Condorito goes and says, "No problem, boss, we'll light it right now. I'm an expert at this," but it was a lie. He wasn't an expert at all because he almost blew his head off. Because when he lit it, he put his face right where the fireworks were about to explode. But his buddy, the guy from Mexico City, who was another drunk guy, noticed and pulled him back so he'd move his head. And if it hadn't been for him, Condorito would have gone to heaven. Literally. One time, my girlfriend and I thought we had an unlimited bank card from AMLO's scholarship, but that wasn't the case. And we made a purchase of 5,000 pesos, and her mom ended up scolding her because she ran out of money. And one day we started buying things, but months went by and it seemed like the card never ran out of money. So one day I said to her, "Hey babe, what if we buy 5,000 pesos worth of V-Bucks in Fortnite? After all, the card is infinite, right?" And she said, "Okay," so we bought the V-Bucks and the card accepted it, but no. But then her mom got a notification on her bank account and said to her, "Girl, what did you do? You spent all the money," and that's when we realized it wasn't infinite. One time I thought I was drowning in a pool because when I was on vacation with my family, we spent like 10 hours in the water. My skin even looked like a raisin. But at night, when it was time to sleep, I was calm counting sheep. But then when I was deep asleep, I felt like I was in the water and drowning. And I woke up really scared. But then I saw that I was in my room calm and I said, "It's all good, it was just a dream." But then I saw my brother next to me and I realized that the bed was wet because my little brother had peed in the hotel bed, and maybe because of how wet it was, that's why I dreamed that too. One time, my mom was making saliva bubbles with her mouth, and since I couldn't do it, I put like 50 milliliters of liquid soap in my mouth, and I almost poisoned myself. And I got stuck because my mom made little bubbles and blew them into the air, but I kept trying, and I just couldn't do it. Until one day, already frustrated, I told my mom I can do it too. Look, I put a lot of soap in my mouth, which tasted awful. Probably the worst thing I've ever tasted. It only smelled nice, but didn't taste that way. So I gagged and tried to spit it out because it was so disgusting, but I don't know how I was so dumb. I ended up swallowing it. My mom got scared and took me to the hospital, and in the end, I couldn't even make a single bubble. One time, a kid disappeared right in front of me like magic because I was at my friend Rodolfo's party, and at the party, I found a kid in a little room. And he says to me, "Look kid, I'm gonna show you a magic trick." Then he says, "On the count of 3, I'm gonna disappear right in front of your eyes. 1, 2, 3, and then he goes and turns off the light in the room." But since the kid was really dark-skinned, he actually disappeared and I couldn't see him, and in the end I even applauded him because he was an emerging magician kid.
If you didn't fight...
One time my girlfriend literally almost scared me to death with a little prank she pulled on me. Because one day I had the hiccups and I was tired of being like that all day. So, there's this silly belief that if you scare someone, their hiccups will go away instantly. So my girlfriend comes up to me and says, "Hey, I'm pregnant." And I just froze and turned pale as chalk, and I felt like I had a mini heart attack, so I started to feel bad. But then she told me it was just a joke, that she did it to get rid of my hiccups, but it didn't work. On the contrary, I almost ended up in the hospital. At that moment, Saru felt true terror. One time, my friend El Chupon ate a tick off a dirty street dog because that guy would literally do anything you told him to. So one day we were hanging out there on the street with the other panas, and then we saw a really dirty dog and said, "Chupon, let's see if you really dare to do anything." Damn, eat a tick off that little dog, and the crazy guy, without saying a word, goes to his house to get some ham to attract the dog. And then he came back, gave it to the dog, and took off the tick. Then he goes and says, "Bon appetit." Seriously, that guy is alive by the grace of the Holy Spirit. I'm wild, I'm really crazy, I'm wild, I am. Once when I was a kid, some old fool embarrassed me in front of everyone at the supermarket because my parents and I were there watching. There was a demonstration of some glasses for cutting onions without crying, and then the man doing the demonstration said to me, "Hey kid, come try these super glasses." So I went, they put them on me, and I started cutting onions, but those ugly glasses didn't work for me, and I still started to cry. But the worst part is that because I was crying, the glasses fogged up, and now I couldn't see anything, and the dumb man started making fun of me in front of everyone else. Once my cousin Tizok got robbed on the minibus on his way home from soccer practice. He had gone to practice at 3 p.m. and took the minibus home at 7 p.m. Then at one point, two guys got on the minibus and said, "Alright everybody, phones and wallets, and if anyone looks me in the face, I'll make them pay." And well, poor Tizok had no choice but to give them his poor Nokia that he had just bought at Koppel, which was only 2 weeks old. He had just gotten it. And they took 100 pesos he had in his wallet too. One time, a teacher shaved my friend El Kalaka's head in front of the whole class. And his mom, instead of going to complain at the school, said to Kalaka, "Nice mane you got there, son." I said, "Sanite, because teacher Paco said we were getting too hairy and that if we didn't cut our hair, by Monday he was going to bring some clippers and shave everyone who had long hair." So, Kalaka said the teacher was dumb, that he wasn't going to do it, but on Monday we all showed up with our hair shaved just in case. But Kalaka didn't care at all and didn't cut his hair. And the teacher gave him a pretty stylish haircut right there in front of the whole class. Who the hell cares, you piece of shit fucking scum bastard son of a bitch?
Mama, I'm a criminal.